So, as you can see, I've got a low-hanging bag. Well, my apologies, I am sucking on a cough sweet, so I've got a cold, I've got a particularly bad throat today. Because I want to just look at doing the kind of thing that we've done with punches and bringing that up into working with kicks. And it's a very similar, maybe we can look at some different things, but very similar concept. In fact, you really feel why this is such a really good training tool when you start doing it with kicks, because it really challenges your balance and your springiness. Like, is your whole body springy connectivity of the right consistency? And you really feel how it challenges your balance and makes you very aware of weaknesses in your posture. So it doesn't have to be this low by any means. I'm not going to bother restringing it. It's fine like that for what I need to do today. The first thing to think about is we're going to do round kicks like that. What part of the body do we want to kick with? To be safe to start with, we're going to use the shin rather than the foot. We can use this part of the foot. It's used all the time in sandar, but there's lots of dangers with that, pushing the foot back, hurting the foot. We want to start with the shin because that's the most useful tool. We want to start by just doing exactly the same thing that we've looked at with the punches. So just really relaxed posture like that. I know it's not the sort of thing you really see anyone else doing. It's just a feature of the Yiquan method that we build it like this. We save ourselves so much body wear by working on the finer points really relaxed like this. Work on the finer points of the movement. So I haven't quite got enough room in here, but and just dropping down like that. And you can see there's something I've talked about a lot, that you don't really want to be able to hold it like that, because it usually means you're leaning back too much. The way we want to generate force when we do it faster is with this horizontal farley like that. When we do it, I'm not going to do it here. Videos of me kicking the bag, no problem. So we want to hit and just kind of feel like we need to put the foot down. It's no problem to pull it back. We can just bounce off the target if we want like that. Maybe look at it in a minute, but for now we just want the down like that. Just hitting there. But even here you can see now we're upgrading our movement, so we're not just going to turn on the back foot like that. We're going to lift and jump a little with it like that. We take the weight off the root, take all our weight by jumping up into the, remember when I talked about it, it's a compound movement, it's a compound farley, that farley up, rise, up, then when we're up, farley round the axis, like that. You can see it, if I do it slow like that, you can see how you do it like that. We want to be moving forward into that. If you can't do that yet, then don't get on the bag yet. Just work up to that, practicing it on the air, nice and relaxed, getting that right. But if you can do that, then you're at the 95% point, so you need to start bringing it into doing something like this now. Something with you can do it with someone holding a pad, it's not quite the same. You want a bit more solidity in the contact for a lighter hit that you don't really get with someone holding a pad like that. But so lifts and changes into that. This will teach us some really useful things, like we don't want to, when we go for the shin, but it's the kind of thing that happens all the time when people get on the bag. They do that and they hit with the knee, and so that the leg goes past the bag, and damages the leg because it snaps against the knee like that. So actually, like, although it sounds ridiculous, like you try to hit with this somewhere here, and this isn't that far off, it's easy to just get the distancing wrong, so just being really careful with them. I'm thinking about, I want to think about first of all, like where's your thigh height? So it's about here. I'm just hitting right with the middle of the shin like that. See the little jump as I go for the kick. The little jump up. And compound the far leap up into the rotational axis. When I do it fast, I mean that's not even, it's not even full speed, there's nowhere near, so obviously nowhere near full power. It's impossible, like it's the movement is so compound, the far leap is so compounded. We break it down analytically when we're training like this, but it's so fast and compounded that you can't really see it. So it's not a tell or anything like that. See if I can do it the other way. There's not that much room in here, I know. Don't want to toast up the wall, so same thing. It's inevitable that when we start doing it full power, that we start using oppositional force and dropping the other hand. It's really hard to train out. Even if you do, like I try to train it out so much, but I always like try and make an effort not to drop the guard with that. So just thinking about where the guard is, just keeping it up like that. And again, remember our Yiquan principle is we lift our leg, we don't come straight up like that. We're not hitting up at an angle like that. You'll know because you'll be hitting with that part of the leg there. Or some wushu balance requires wall. We're lifting it because we're using this compound far leap. We can get this leg up with the jump. The knee is already up, and then we can come in flatter round like that. You can see it comes up and then comes in a lot. It doesn't come up on an angle like that. I mean, you can do, no problem. You know, we can do it like that, no problem. I'll look at that another time. It's one of the postures in the natural set where we do it like that. But for this, we're going to kick round their kicks. We're going to kick round everything that's going on down here. Kick a little bit. How tall is he? Yeah, we're about there. There's a handy knobble there. Right on the knobble. Fortunately, didn't hurt. Like that. Just nice and relaxed like that. That's no problem. We'll come back to lead leg kicks. Let's think about side kick now. It's kind of hanging on there, just a little bit on the floor. That's fine, it stops it moving too much. So for our side kick, we want to think about where is the knee. You want to hit here, or, I mean, it depends on the, well, Wang Xiangjai says hit your opponent's strongest part, which I think is quite an interesting concept, like the legs are so strong, but if you attack this part here, you can do some damage with that. So roughly that area, if it doesn't really matter, if you're going to kick here full contact, it's going to push the knee back anyway, so it's maybe just got a bit more of a chance of just resting on the knobble of the knee. I have particularly knobbly knees. I won a competition at Blackpool, so my mum says. Hit there and it's got just a little bit of a chance of hitting the knee and pushing back in rather than just sliding off the... That's the idea anyway. So again, we'll go back foot first. There's not much room in here. Go back foot. No, I won't because there's not enough room. Go front foot, lift and then down like that. Like that. You see, we're not even Like we're not fully opening like that yet. Don't want to do that in here with this, it's not safe enough. We're not fully opening, we just want enough feedback so that we feel like we have to adjust our balance and learn how to balance with the posture. And back. Again, this way, so we lift. And look as we lift. Think about how we lift. And then in. We're lifting in this way, or we're lifting in flat that way. Ideally we want to lift in flat, but it doesn't necessarily make that much difference. It's just a tell if you do that. But you can always change it to something else anyway and do it deliberately. But if you always have that tell for a side kick, people will spot it. So generally speaking, it's lift and then change. Also, it gets more screwing force on the posture with this movement of the kick. So now I'm kicking in with. I want to hit somewhere here. Is what I'm aiming for, not because of the part of the foot that it is, but because I want as much chance as possible of getting it. So if I aim with the heel, which is the hardest part, there's just much more chance of missing the target. So I want to hit something this big with something this big. So I'm aiming for that. Lift. And, like that, just really relaxed practice. You can see on the there's some variation there in where I'm hitting. That's useful feedback, you know, it tells me like I'm not hitting the same point every time. Ideally I think I'd want to, but so lift. When you do it faster, it's going to turn anyway like that. You're going to get the screwing force into more of a spiral like that anyway. So, but when you're doing it slower, just try and lift like that. Now we start to compound the movement, so we start to get a little bit of a. You don't have to. You want two ways for this because it's defensive and offensive. So you want to be able to just, when someone throws a kick, to be able to just stop it like that. And for that, you want to practice lower like that with the, because as soon as the kick starts coming up, you want to hit on the shin. And to do that, you've got to lift and then it's preparing for Taekwondo. Kind of do that. So this guy comes up to me in the gym. Turns out he's former Taekwondo national champion in a European country. He says, we're having a chat and I say, oh, we do some sparring sometime. And he says, no, we do sparring now. So okay, we'll do sparring now. So I thought, well, it's a Taekwondo national champion. I'm prepared for this. I've got all my little blocks like that and all that. No, it turns out he's a really great boxer. So she was a surprise. Never think that you know what someone's skills are. Never think that. Well, you get a surprise like I did. Yes, I did. Anyway, we had a few we spent a few weeks doing loads of sparring. It was great. It was really interesting. It's true. So for that anyway, you should use your freer footwork. Just the trick is in the, because you need to lift the front foot up. You don't want to do that, so your weight's got to be back more like that. So the trick is in how when you're moving, how do you just distribute the weight back onto your back leg so that you can quickly get up and block like that. I know you want to kick things as well. What? Or you can break it into drills just moving around. Like. It's a good teachable moment because I fumbled it a little bit because the timing isn't that easy. Like. So that's why you've got to practice these things, get them drilled in. It's not like when we say giving the intent these tools, it's not like you have to practice everything forever. It's like at a certain point, the intent has the quality of being able to integrate and use them. But there's always going to be fumbles. That's the way it is. Next, we can change and think about the lead leg, and this is about getting it off the spot first. So we want our distance right. Where do I want to hit? I just want to lift and hit with that off the spot, nice and relaxed. So like that. Not much room on this side, so I'm going to have to adapt and come up on a bit more of an angle. Yeah, took me a couple to adapt then, so again that's good learning point, good indication, just recognising all these things about how the body functions. If you're always practising one way and then you suddenly find yourself, well now I'm here and I need to kick here, have I got have I got what I need to be able to do that? So, just off the spot, lift. Then what you can really focus on with this is not just the balance but the pushing in with the hip to get this wave movement, this articulate, see the hand going down like that, the articulated movement, this phased like that, and pushing in with the, feel like when you hit, pushing in with this hip but not past the target like that. So that's going to be like that. You feel it more when you just try and feel, are you pushing in that hip? You'll feel that a lot better. So let's change, let's do something different. So what did I do before? I went for this low sweep. Just take out the front leg. I can do it more powerful than that if I want. Take out the front leg. These are really dangerous. I've got a video looking at how to do these. It's a kick from the natural set. They're really, really dangerous, and I've seen people just injure themselves straight away trying to do it. This is all about, when people talk about fascia and muscle cells and things like that, when they're talking about whole body integration, that's all about bone alignment and the way that the bones are aligned when you hit. Yeah, you need Hun Yuan Li muscle align. You need the muscles to be working as a functional system to get the bones in the right alignment, but the actual technique for not. It's the same if you do chopping out this way with the foot. It's all about alignment. People always say like, you can't kick like that. Well, I just have, that's enough. That's enough power to just take your leg out of the, just move a knee out of the way while I just off balance you. So yes, I can. Yes, I can kick like that, and it's all about bone alignment. So, but we'll keep it quite relaxed. We'll look at 2-point kicks in another video. So we'll do it in. So a 2-point kick is where we go 1, 2, and change. We'll do that in a minute. First, we'll do 1, 2 like that. So this goes like a football volley. Like. Hit, and then when you hit the floor, that bounces you straight back up into the posture like that. We use the it's structurally sympathetic with the compound Fa Li. So 1, and then into the posture. Still really, really relaxed. You've got to get these bone alignments right. The same with getting the hip pushed in. That's all about bone alignments. At the end of the day, like Yiquan says, the muscles are around bones and connected together with sinews. It's about using that advanced Yuan Li concept we've talked about multiple times and could talk about again. Getting the bones in proper alignment so that you can do things like this, not injure yourself, be more mechanically efficient. Let's try, it's a little bit more advanced, but we'll do a couple and you can give it a go if you feel like, you know, some people are better kickers than others, like the two point kicks up, 1, 2, like that. Kicking it this way. Like that. And you can see the posture changes slightly because from here, 1, 2, now I've lost a lot of the force that, just this distance from here to bringing my hip here. This is stored force that I can change into the kick. Now it's gone. I don't know how clearly you can see it, but I can feel it. The difference in how I articulate the movement, where my upper body's got to phase round like that to get the power in the kick. 1, 2. To compensate for the fact just that I've lost this little bit of space here, and that what that tells you really interestingly is this idea that we're going to come back to again and again and again, that I can take that space and I can put it in the articulation of the body so I can get the same power for a smaller movement, like Yiquan says. It's not really smaller, it's just in the body, the movement. So instead of just going one like that, I've got to go like that with a snaky articulation. So you can see that, I think, you see, if I really overemphasize it, like a superhero wind up like that, but I just get it really, really small. Look at how it works. That's a little bit higher than a thigh, isn't it? So where's my thigh? Oh, when it right down there, oh, that's miles easier. So, I quite like the higher one. See it bounce off. Won't bounce quite the same if I hit with full power, so it'll go, more energy will go in obviously. As long as you go with the bounce anyway, it doesn't matter that much. Kicking just isn't something you see enough of in Yiquan, and there's a lot of, like people who can't do something always criticise it, so there's always people saying like, oh, you don't do kicks and you can't do a round kick in Yiquan. It's like, no, you don't know Yiquan, so you think that in what you call Yiquan, you can't do a round kick, you know, because it's not Yiquan. Yiquan is all techniques. So I saw someone say like there's no chinna in Yiquan. Yeah, there's tons of chinna in Yiquan. There's everything in Yiquan. We've got a whole chinna curriculum, but it's not chinna like you normally see. So this is called 2-point kicking. So 1, 2, change like that, hit once, then hit again like that, and you can. There's a famous 3-point kick that we'll look at another time, but there's all kinds of 2-point kicks you can use, like hitting like one and then hit the other, like. But we start with like really cool, simple 2-point kicks like this. We're hitting. We've got to be able to do this first, and change. See the articulation. Like I can do it slow like that without moving my body at all, but there's no power, so I want that volume of movement is transferred into power. We're creating more volume, just exactly as when we lean over. This is just creating more volume, i.e. more power. This is the secret. It's not even a secret. It's just distorted by people who think they've got magic powers, so they lose all of this. See, if you've got magic powers, you don't need to do that. I can just like use my... For someone I saw like that, you know, come on, who's buying that shit? Loads of people are buying it. 1, 1, and this also has, when we do it with power, it has articulation like this. This is close, by the way, close, and then open, but with kicks. Close, see the hips coming closer together, then articulate into open. Close, open. Particularly for beginners, you've got to check that your bone alignment is absolutely right, otherwise you will do yourself a mischief, I'm telling you. And we can change haven't really got enough room. I wanted to do back side kick, but I haven't got enough room. So what I'll do instead, we can go 1, 2, and change around like that, because we've got to do something slightly. These are for advanced. These are for advanced people. There's no question. 1. Now I've got to get round the bag to do a round kick. So I've got to come round and kick this way. 1, 2. Keep it thigh high. 1. So I've got to bounce, use the somatic bounce off the bag like that, and then I'm still using articulated movement, but this is very sympathetic to the articulated movement, so I just flow with the, so it's still just like I can do the articulation without moving the leg at all, but if I do move the leg, it makes it miles easier. So even though the posture itself is harder, doing it actually is easier. Doing it with power is easier, because this feeds into the articulation and also puts more volume into the movement like that, puts more power into it. Again, this is a totally different, you know, when you see people like just teaching one way of doing a kick or something like that, here you can start seeing like why techniques are secondary. It's the functionality of the body itself. 1, the way I'm articulating my movement determines the exact form, the exact configuration, the exact way that I start the posture determines that, and there's multiple different ways. For example, if I was to stamp down and then I want to come straight up like that, then I kick up like that, a completely different way of using, or like a Yiquan low kick. So when we say round kick, there's there's just, this is what we learn when we start getting into the natural set, by the way. There's just core basic template postures that we can then adapt in infinite different varieties. It's this, the core body movement concepts. It's this that matters, that determines everything else. So techniques are completely secondary. So let's have a look. So we lift and change this way. I'm a little bit having to hit more with the instep there because I'm further away, which is absolutely fine. I could even do a little shuffling step like that, but that's much more advanced for your balance, and that's a little bit of time under the posture. But because it makes it a little bit more shorter, again, it's a contradiction, like, because you think more volume is more power, and it usually is, but shorter is more structurally integrated, just like the short hook is more structurally integrated than the long hook. So all these different compromises we've got to make. So if I want to go like a longer kick like that, 1, 2, I get the power from the volume, the bigness of the movement. But if I'm closer in, I get the structural integrity, because the muscles are not being stretched out, they're all knitted together really tightly. So you create a much more solid structure that you hit with. Neither's right or wrong, so again, this is what I'm trying to get across with all these. It's like just wearing another uniform, isn't it? Like, I belong to this group. We do it like this and you're all heretics and you're all wrong. Above that, there's an understanding of Yiquan where we see the whole paradigm, where it's not about who's right or wrong, it's about having the ability to see why people are doing things differently and what they're doing, what they're sacrificing, what they're gaining from it, and being able to adapt intuitively ourselves to do all those different versions. So if I do it the other way, 1, I've got less room here to come round with the articulation, or if I haven't, it feels like I have. So I'm having to move more of this movement, this round movement, into my articulated phased movement, shifting that movement into this movement to compensate for the power. This is a concept we're going to come back to again and again and again and again, moving the volume of the movement from one place to another to compensate. So again, really relaxed, but what it teaches you about bodily movement is absolutely priceless. And once you can get this right, and once you strengthen all the parts of the body, get rid of all unnecessary unnecessary looseness in the posture. Once you start learning about how to articulate, set the bones right, then you just bring the power up step by step. New levels, new devils, it's always like that, but you just bring the power up step by step. And you find that you can do cool stuff a lot quicker, and also you've not worn your body. You don't get this kind of thing just by going, boom, boom, boom. I mean, there's a time for doing that kind of training, and I do it myself. There's a time for doing that, but when you're building skill development, focus on skill development. When you're building brute cardio or brute strength, focus on brute cardio or brute strength. Skill development is far and away the biggest part, the most complex part. Break that down like this. Test it, structurally test it out. I suppose there's one more we could do. We can go down with the low kick like that. And this just asks something different of us. So one, to get to the knee, we've got to lift really high, then chop down. You see, if you spend too long there, you might just fall over. We've got to kick and pull in like that, like proper traditional wushu kind of posture. Kick and pull in, whereas most people used to just kick and pull down straight away. Again, techniques are completely secondary. We want an infinite ability, or as far as our capacity. This is, our lifelong cultivation, building our capacity to adapt techniques in infinite possible varieties, because they're just secondary to the movement body principles. So we keep it really high and just stamp down into the knee for this exercise. Like that. We've got to keep our balance. We've got to imagine we hit someone's knee. Their knee's pretty solid. Even if we do some damage to it, their knee's pretty solid. It's going to off balance us a little bit. So this is really good practice. And down. Got to keep it high. So if we drop, then we've got to come back up like that. We miss our chance. That's why we want these 2-point kicks. And there's almost no, if you do it with power, then you can release a little bit more around the axis, but it's mostly like just a little farley leg release down with the, mostly just all from the leg. So it's another kind of, it isolates the leg a little bit from the whole body connectivity. So the best we can do is make the structure itself solid. And what do? We use the losses again. We can't really get that on it too much because it's too close. But all the muscles are really close together, they're knitted in, so the structure is really solid. It can transmit force really solid like that, just like a close. So we use that and just stamp down like that. Not going to do too powerful. You can see you can do hit and stop with some of the kicks. Even with the round kick, you can do hit and stop and hold, and then just, it's good for your leg strength and stuff like that. But don't do it all the time. Kick and then down. So that's how we begin. That's how we begin working with kicks, just in the same way that we begin working with punches. And that's just a little bit of an overview. Just looking at round kicks and side kicks. I don't want to go any more than that today because I did some basic and I did some advanced, and that's enough to go away and work on. So have a practice with that. One love. See you in the next one.